Hi everyone, my name's Anne-Marie. Welcome to Card Making Project 619. And today it's all about Christmas using our Anna Griffin goodies. Now I've got to say before I forget, there will be no tutorial next week. But then when I come back it should be Christmas all the way to Christmas itself. So look forward to hearing what you think and seeing if you're glad about it being Christmas all the way from mid-November onto the big day. Everything I do use, as always, will be listed on my blog, so please be sure to check it out. There's always lots more photos on there as well. And for any viewers that are going to miss out next week, please check the blog because, you know, there might be a video that you've not watched. So enough to keep you entertained on there anyway. So today, all about Christmas, and I think this is just such a fun card and touching on subjects that we've used already this year to make something very different. So I want to run through some of the items that we're going to use. Now the first item is the Anna Griffin Christmas stamps, and we're using this little stamp here from me to you. If you don't have these stamps, because they were an older stamp, don't worry, substitute it with what you might have already in your stash. We're going to be using Paper Tricks 2, the embossing folder, to make large paper fans. Now we've used paper fans before this year, last year, and for the last few years. I do like them. Paper Tricks 2 is just such a great set and you can do so much with it, but this especially is one of my favourite embossing folders because putting the lines in to be able to make the folds, it makes it so much easier. If you don't have it, don't panic. You can always do it the old-fashioned method by scoring on your paper, but you know, obviously that will take you a little bit longer. We're also going to be using a really old favourite from Baubles and Bells, Scattered Holly embossing folder. Now this is just for the background. If you don't have this particular embossing folder, you could use any. It's just to give it a little bit of something different on the background. So don't get too worried if you don't have the, you know, the same and the right ones. We're going to be using the reticulated border frame dies. We're going to use the shadow layer of the large frame and the ornate layer of the large frame. And then we're going to use the Anna Griffin crosses. We're going to use the starburst, as I like to call it, because it's just a useful dies, that one. So don't forget, you can always substitute, please. If you don't have them, don't be thinking, oh, I can't do it. Just check around your stash what you might have, and you never know, you know, try something different. So I've got a 7x5" plain ivory card. I've already used my handmade by stamp on the back. I've added my name, 619, because that's the tutorial number, and that just keeps me in check. I'm going to use my bone folder from the Anna Griffin tool collection, and I'm just going to run it along the edge just to make sure that crease is nice and sharp. And then, as always, we're going to do the inside first. Now the inside I think is quick and easy, and it's just something a little bit different. So for the background, I've taken some of the Anna Griffin satin foil and I've cut it down to 4.8 by 6.8 inches. So it gives me a nice little border around the edge. I've got double-sided tape on the back, and when I refer to it as flat tape, that's what I mean, double-sided tape. So I've peeled the back of the flat tape away, and I'm just going to position this in the centre and then press it down. There we go. Next, I've taken the starburst, the sunburst, the die that I showed you from the crosses, cut and emboss die set, and I've simply cut it in half. I've got flat tape on the back, and I'm simply going to put half at the bottom of my cardstock and half at the top. Try and roughly get them in line, like so. There we go. Now I know you're thinking, oh, Anne-Marie's lost marbles. Anne-Marie's going completely mad. Well, I've cut a piece of ivory cardstock that will fit between the two starburst die cuts. And this was roughly 3.5 inches by about 3 3/4. But it, you know, measure it, see what you get. I think the measurement for this, it depends on your card, where you position them, all sorts of things. So I think it's a bit of trial and error there. I've used peel painting just to shade the outline of the white cardstock. And this is where I've used the actual Christmas rubber stamp. And it just says from me to you. I've got flat tape on the back. And I am simply going to position this over the edges of the two pieces of the die cut. Just like so. And press it down. And then I've used one of the brand new holly stickers, and this is the holly with a touch of gold on it. And I'm just going to pop it to the top of our stamp there. There we go. And I'm not worried that it's 3D sticker, because there's going to be lots of layers on the front, so another little extra isn't going to hurt on the inside. So we've got lots of room for our message, and I think that looks super cool. It's just a nice, classic, clean insert, and just something a little bit different. Plus it is going to match the front of our card. So I'm just going to use my bone folder again to make sure that crease is nice and sharp for the while we create the outside of the card. Now the first layer is our embossed layer. So this is using the scattered holly embossing folder, and I've used the gold metallic cardstock from Griffin. I've got flat tape on the back, and this is literally, I shouldn't use that word because I use it too much, to cover the card itself, the card front. So we're going to just attach this so it covers the card. Now I've only turned it round so I can see. There we go. Nearly covers it. Nearly in line. I'm pointing out my faults now. So that's our background. We're not going to see a great deal of it, but we do know it's there, and I think it just finishes it off nicely. Our next layer is from our reticulated dies. I've used the same green satin foil as the inside, and I've just used the shadow layer of the die, and I've got 3D foam on the back of it. So I'm just going to position that on the front of our card like so. Press it down. Then our next layer is the ornate layer. Now this, I have actually got flat tape on this, and I'm going to position it over our previous layer. Now I've used the red satin foil to cut out the ornate layer of the frame, and I'm just going to press it down. There we go. So it looks really dramatic with the green, the brown, the green, the red and the gold. Next, I've created 2 large paper fans. Now instead of making the small ones with a small circle, this was using a 3.5 inch by 3.5 inch circle, so that would roughly work out to, I think it was about a 7 inch across. So I don't know whether that's your diameter or your circumference. No, it can't be circumference, that's all the way around. But it was roughly a 7 inch circle. And that I cut in half and then made exactly the same as we normally make the paper fans. Put it into the Paper Tricks 2 embossing folder and got the ridges, folded it up, made it into a concertina and then stuck it down. So if you've seen any of the how we make paper fans before, that's how it was done. But it was just a larger circle. So I've got flat tape on the back. I've added a piece of extra cardboard just because I needed that extra hold on the concertina for showing a video, really. Because normally you would add your glue and then put it straight to the card. So mine's been sat. So I've got one for the top of the card, like so, she says. And then I've got a second one for the bottom of the card, like so. So they will meet in the middle, like that. Our next layer, and this is going to look really odd, is one of the sunbursts, but I've just cut away some of the edges because I've got something that's going to sit over the top here, and those edges were getting in the way. So the main pieces I want were the sunburst bursts at the top and the bottom. So I've just got that on flat tape through the centre, and I'm going to position it over the top of our Christmas paper fans. I should have mentioned you could use any Christmas paper. I've used an older Christmas paper here just to make the fans out of. So it just so happens it's the one that's got the red and the green and the gold in it. I made the fans first before I put the rest of everything together. So it all just kind of all worked. But, you know, you could use any of the cardstock. Next, I've taken one of the Anna Griffin favourite Christmas sentiment stickers. Now, on the back of it, I've peeled the back away and it's still sticky in the centre, but I've put 3D foam at either edge because this centre is raised, so we only need it to stick at the edges. So it covers the centre nicely, like that. So you can see how it just works so well. Next, I've taken the new holly stickers, and instead of using it as a sticker, I've got 3D foam on the back of it, and I'm going to add one at the top over the paper fan and the starburst. And then I'm going to add one underneath, just at the bottom, like so. And then to finish off, I've got a little red bow that I'm just going to add at the bottom of the sentiment over the top of the holly. And that is our card finished. Now we've got quite a few layers there, and you can see the height of the 3D foam because of the height of the actual paper fans. But obviously as you look at it, you don't see the height because you always look at a card front on. I always show you the sides because I want you to see the height for posting. So you've got a little bit extra there, so you might need a generous envelope. Our inside matches perfectly. It's so pretty, it just works, does this one. Stands up, will definitely go on a mantelpiece, and no doubt about that. It just looks so pretty. Wait till you see the photos. And it just works. You can't go wrong with red, gold, and green for Christmas. Sorry, my mind just went woohoo. Red, gold and green for Christmas, or red, gold and silver. They're just, anything you put together using those colours is going to work, and anything of Anna's will work together. Please check the blog for extra photos. I'm going to have a week off now to try and just recharge my batteries. Then when I come back the week after, it will be Christmas all the way to Christmas week. And I will let you know nearer the time when the last tutorial before Christmas is. So please check out my blog and the rest of the tutorials while you've got nothing to do next Friday when you're waiting for me. And for all those people that are going to create, have a great time. I know you will enjoy it, and it will be so much fun. And for everybody else, you know, just check out my tutorials. I would just like to say thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you in 2 weeks.